So we are here with Nicole Ginsberg of Frightmare Farms.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're excited to see what's going on and all the new happenings.
Yes.
We had a chance to kind of zoom around and check out the hayride. You know, obviously in daylight, none of the monsters present, stuff like that. Everything looks awesome. So what is new for 2023?
For this year, we are really, really excited to say, like, we have a fifth attraction. And our fifth attraction is really our Midway, our Monstrous Midway. We launched that a few years ago, but now we've invested in a huge way to make sure that we've got those continued stories, those continued attractions, and those continued things that everybody's gonna look at. I could talk about the Frightmare Flicks series and expanding into that if you want me to, or do you want to wait till the end?
Well, so is that mostly tied into the bog stuff, or is it just everything?
It's going to be everything from here.
Okay.
Now. There's going to be deeper stories all the way around. There's going to be content for folks. There's going to be additional teasers and pleasers, so to speak, right? But those are all shorts. So eventually, all of our attractions will have
Its own
that
little short
content
movie.
with it, and then
Nice.
also behind the scenes as well, because, you know, and that's the thing is that they're all, everybody that's doing these is tied into Frightmare some way, shape, or form.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing some of that unfold, and you'll begin posting some of that online in the coming weeks?
Yes, yes. So the next couple of weeks are going to have all sorts of really cool expanded information. And the best part is you're going to be able to live out those stories too. You're going to be able to see the scenes and the spaces and the places that we filmed in, because it's all here. And you're going to be able to not only that, but expand on those stories too. And then some of it is introducing our characters. Some of it is introducing some more information into the backstory. You know, there's been larger theme parks that have had a lot of success in doing that for a long period of time. And we've been always compared to larger attractions. So we're gonna give it a try and see how it goes. And so far, it's going extremely well.
Awesome, very cool.
Yeah.
And are those going to be oriented vertically or horizontally, or is there?
So both, and we're gonna do like YouTube, YouTube premieres, and we're gonna have it on multiple mediums. So we've gotten very much into TikTok, and you know, I shouldn't say that we have. A lot of our really great actors and managers who also have their own followings and have been able to put some information out there to folks, but also some really fun, you know, look behind the scenes, behind the screens. Some of the trips that we take our staff on, they're doing content and stuff there, which has been great. So it's
Like
been
at the industry
yes
events
yep
and
yep
stuff?
And then like cool things that they bought at there, or cool things that they're creating, or things that they're doing, or you know what goes into creating their characters, and how do they even get to Frightmare?
Kind of pulling back the curtain and having a behind the scenes look
Yes.
at the scare actors during the off season.
Exactly.
So to speak, leading
Yeah.
up. So when during the off season do you begin, like for instance, some of the new attractions or
Yep.
some of the new themes that you guys have going on? When do you start working on those?
Those are done for next year.
They're done for next year.
Yes.
So the ones we
I
see
know.
now, you started a year ago?
So, well, we started within this year, right? So, of course, we have a lot of ideas always kind of, you know, rolling around. What happens is, especially with the larger themes that we're doing, there's a lot of preparation time. And if there's artists here that we can't have do, or there's themes that we've picked based on special artists across the country, we have to have that prep time for them, but also we have to have the time for us to execute a full attraction change implementation of like exactly what we want for visuals and costuming and certain elements. And what'll end up happening is that's gonna transition all the way through and change based on the storylines. So a lot of the storylines and the backstories that you guys see are like cut down little tiny versions of like a huge expanded story that we use. So with that, you know, when you're really exploring that and understanding that, that goes along with the characters, but also the scares and the emotion that we want people to feel as they're going through certain attractions.
What are some of the new themes that we can expect for this year?
For this year, so we have got the bog. And the bog, if you are watching our socials, are gonna unfold a really cool story. So the bog is obviously part of the Professor Whitaker lore. It's part of the property, but something's gonna go awry.
Can you give me just sort of the elevator speech on Professor Whitaker?
Yeah, so Professor Whitaker is the esteemed professor that came and brought his homestead to Palermo. So it started with his haunted estate, which he brought back from his childhood in its original form. Just so happened to bring back a lot of the characters from his past. Right now, his Aunt Miriam is visiting, and she is wreaking havoc on everything. Last year, she showed up, and this year is The Reckoning 2 for her, and that is a completely cool and spine-chilling theme that we're keeping for this year, and I'm gonna be sad to see it go. And then what happened is Professor Whitaker also uncovered a condemned mine trail, and that has unleashed all of the storylines that go along with that mine trail. And each year with the exploration, there's other things or other creatures or other spirits or other entities that are been unfolding. And this year, there was a deep dive of that bog, and there's a pharmaceutical company that has been partnered with, and they've got some crazy new beauty products that they're debuting this year that we're really excited about. And then for our Labyrinth, which is our third attraction in order, that is a overgrown, crazy menagerie of stories and twists and turns, and that is stemming off of the Museum of Fright. And the Museum of Fright is the Professor Whitaker's baby. That's his project. He travels the world. He finds all sorts of entities, oddities, stories to bring back to Frightmare Farms, and he is the professor of fear. So anything that, when it comes down to the fear, the way you feel when you're here, all of that is all from that same backstory with him. Then there's the hayride.
Okay.
And the hayride is actually the village, and the village of his hometown of where all of that started. So the tragedies and the things that made him who he is, today, comes out of, or played out in the Frightmare Forest.
Frightmare Forest is the name of the hayride.
Yes.
Awesome. So have we seen Professor Whitaker?
Actually,
Because Miriam...
is his aunt.
I saw his aunt's some masks made by Cody. What's his last name?
Cody Ryan. Yep.
Who's an amazing artist.
Extremely talented.
I checked out the masks and the various iterations of her. Amazing work, of course. I don't recall ever seeing
the Professor.
Whitaker. Have I?
So you actually have. So Professor Whitaker is the master Easter egg of Frightmare Farms. If you think you have seen him, you probably have. He only makes appearances every couple of seasons, and it is not every single night. He's got to check in on what he's doing.
And he would be in his museum in the walk-through haunt?
Well, he's in one of the attractions that night, depending on what it is, right? And then also in our marketing, every now and then we do sprinkle some of his images back in. Really great character. Super, super fun. And then, the last of it is Professor Whitaker's Monstrous Midway. So the Monstrous Midway is all of the crazy, ridiculous, and fun characters, and also some of the ones that have the purest evil that have either stayed around or they're still visiting or they're, whichever. But this year, we have a carnival that's broke down, and there's a lot of those employees that were stuck without a job, so we had to make sure we'd put them to work in our midway.
So the midway being mostly sort of floating scare actors?
Yes.
Line queue entertainment?
There is equal amount of characters out there than there is in an attraction. So we've made it a huge investment in that. People love to be entertained. They love to interact. So not only now does the Midway have its own storyline, but there are characters in each of the attractions that have their stories as well. So the story, instead of being told at the front of the attraction, is going to be told in segments all the way through. We do a lot of Easter eggs throughout the property, and now that I'm telling you this, you're all going to be coming up to us going, wait, what's new, right? So we do secret things all the time. And that's a great example of one that the Rancid Harvest, we had a free walkthrough attraction last year that if you could find it and you could survive it, you could go through it. And that was behind our movie screen last year.
Have you begun rehearsal yet with your scare actors?
Oh, yes. Yep. We actually only have a few left.
When does that start?
So our rehearsals actually, we do a large party for our crew anyways, right at the kickoff beginning of summer, and that can range anywhere from the middle of May to the middle of June. We start hiring, we got a hiring notice up really early, and then we start recruiting talent very early on.
What time do the scare actors arrive for work to get, because obviously it's a process.
Yes,
some
it
people
is.
are in makeup, some people are in
Yep.
masks, obviously costumes.
Yes.
I got a chance to tour the sort of behind the scenes
Yeah.
area with the costumes and everything, where people come and sign out their costume for the evening and stuff. How long does that process take before the gates officially swing open?
You're gonna think I'm crazy. It's about 45 minutes.
Okay.
It is extreme, utter organized chaos. It is a heavy on that half hour of really strategic movement to do that, and then also bonding with their attractions, getting their updates they need, and then getting into places. Something that we launched last year, and this is like a little known thing that I'm gonna share with all of you guys, is our park actually opens at 6:30. It's posted 7 everywhere else, but if you have a pre-sale ticket, that's one of our earlier tickets, you have permission to get a great parking spot in the back. You have permission to come on over, jump in the ticket line, and be one of the very first in lines to go through the house. And then your attraction journey actually starts right after that. Later in the season, of course, it is much darker, but this, with our house is a dark attraction. But this allows you that time, and it also allows you that time to interact with all of our actors, our queue actors, our staff, and really have a full night of fear. But there's some people that are trying to get multiple attractions in one night, and that's something that, if they call and talk to one of us, we highly suggest that, because it's able to allow that at that point.
What are your hours for the 2023 season?
They are the same. We are going to be open. Our ticket booth will be open 7 to 10 p.m. One of the most important questions that we get is, what time do the attractions close? So the attractions are going to start to close shortly after that. So if you're showing up late, obviously we're going to do our very best to get you through all of the attractions. We always advise that you come earlier than later. Again, like I said, you can get in line as early as 6:30, and then we're here until the last screaming soul goes through. Then on Sundays, we actually have 3 Sundays this year, and our ticket booth is open then from 7 to 9 p.m. We are open rain or moonshine all throughout October.
Awesome. Very cool. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.